Alright, look, this is me before, and this is me now. This is after a lot of years of figuring it out the hard way. There's a lot of overcomplicated bro science and stuff on social media now, and I am someone who has made all the mistakes so you don't have to. So, I've got you, bro. Let's simplify this whole thing for you. So, topic number 1 is actually Noob Gains. When you're starting out, you will actually get very much muscle mass very fast, and that is what we call Noob Gains. Your body is just so fresh and just so new to these, to this kind of input you're giving in it. You are just doing some muscle damage, and it's gonna repair itself, and that is all new for your muscles. So that is the Noob game aspect, and the reason that I mention this is especially if you're young, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, your body will just adapt, or your body will just put on so much muscle mass so fast. But when you are over these Noob Gains and you have gotten a lot of muscle mass, then it will just be a lot slower to put on muscle mass, and that can be very encouraging, you know. So when you have trained like 6 months to a year and you have gotten all of these Noob Gains and you have gotten all this muscle mass, then it just seems like your strength will not increase that quickly. Your muscle mass will not increase that quickly, and you just have to do a lot of work for very little progress, because you just saw extremely much progress beforehand with these Noob Gains. So that is just to say to you, that is very normal. Everybody hits these plateaus. You do have some genetic freaks that just keep on growing and growing and growing, but most of us normal people are actually just can only put on a certain amount of muscle mass, and once we have hit a lot of muscle mass, then it will just go extremely slow. Then you can improve in other aspects as well. So remember, when you hit a plateau, because your Noob Gains phase is over, then just remember it's normal, and you just have to put that much extra work into actually getting some gains. And that is where you see those people that have put on a lot of, or have put a lot of work in it. Then it does take a lot of time, but just like year after year after year, then it will just expand and accumulate, and you will just get so much more of a bodybuilder look if you are trying to achieve that. I can just say that I'm not the biggest person in the room, but I do have a lot of muscle mass compared to other people, but I weigh the same as the next guy, but it just looks much more impressive because you have done repetition after repetition after repetition and gotten your meals in, you know, like every day. So your body will just look like that actually. Okay, so topic number 2, or lesson number 2. The perfect training program doesn't exist. I know that there have been a lot of studies, and especially today in this social media era, you can read a lot online, and it's awesome. It's very good that you want to read online. It's very nice. But the dangerous thing about that is there's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of different studies that say a lot of different things. The people in the studies are very different groups of people. They are maybe not where you are. They can be experienced lifters, they can be start-out lifters, they can be old people, it can be young people, it can just be a lot of different factors. So I would just say the perfect training program doesn't exist. You just have to find a program that you love, because the perfect training program for you is just that program you can stick to the longest without failing. And when I say failing, I mean if you are dragging yourself down in the fitness center or where we train, So if you find something that you actually enjoy doing, or the thing that you enjoy doing the most, then stick to that, because that's the best training program for you. Before, I just chased whatever could give me the most gains, but I did not enjoy a lot of the programs. I just did them, and when it just was a little bit off that day, if I had a hard day at work or anything like that, then they could just throw me off, like I didn't want to go out there. I probably did go down to the fitness center as well, but I did not want to be there, and that also made me not get the best trainings as possible as I could. Lesson number 3. You don't have to be perfect all the time. Which means, when I was starting out, when I was training, I just thought that I could not miss a meal. I could not partake in birthdays and family gatherings and stuff like that. I could not take alcohol in when I was very young, so it was just a part of, especially culture here in Denmark. If you want to be social, then it's also very much a part of the culture. I could not take some chocolate or something on the Friday night if I wanted to do that. So I just try to be perfect all the time, and when I think back, if you want to be a professional bodybuilder, then it can be very good to be 90% perfect. But if you're just a normal Joe who just want to get a very nice lean body, or just get a beach body or something like that, just increase some muscle size or strength, then you do not have to be perfect all the time. You can actually skip that meal and replace it with another meal. If you are not into training that day, of course, it's nice to get all your trainings in, and I did say that missing trainings is not good, but missing trainings all the time is not good. But if you are really not feeling it and you rather do something else, then you should also do those things if it's things that gives you something else, In the long run, if you've been perfect all the time and you just want to be a very fit person, you just want to have a lot of muscle mass and stuff like that, then you do not have to be perfect. If you are 80% perfect, then that's extremely good. Yeah, then that's extremely good. So just try after being as perfect as you can be with having a life. Also, if you're not trying to be a professional bodybuilder, a professional athlete, then it's more like 90-10, I would say. Number 4. You don't have to eat chicken and rice and broccoli only. When you see someone with these large containers, they are just shoveling plain rice and chicken and frozen broccoli that's just been microwaved. It's not necessary. I think it's more like a look. They want to look more disciplined than they are. It can certainly help with if you are 6 weeks out from a bodybuilding show, or if you are a couple of weeks out from a boxing match or something like that, that it can certainly help to just know these ingredients are what I do have in this container, and then you just have these 3 or 4 ingredients. That makes it very, very simple, and that can be nice, but most of the time it's just not necessary. You can eat a big variety of food, like tacos, burgers, burritos. You can eat whatever is steak dinners, like you can eat all of the food in the world. Like, you just have to be creative. You can eat very good, you just need maybe a smaller portion size than the ones that you are currently eating. So just know that you do not have to eat boring to lose weight or just gain weight as a trying to get more muscle mass. You do not have to eat plain and boring. It's not a prison sentence. You are not in prison. Fitness is not a punishment. It's something good you do to yourself. So do not punish yourself if you do not want to eat it. If you want to eat rice and broccoli and just a plain chicken, that's fine. Just do that. I have done it, and because I wanted to gain muscle mass, then I had to eat so much that I actually almost vomited every night, because I have to get all of that food down. It's a very, very large volume of food that your stomach is trying to gather, and I do not think it gives the best look, because when you are having so much volume all the time that your stomach is trying to digest, then you are releasing a lot of or a lot of acid in the stomach, and you can get bloated, and your stomach is just expanded so much, so it will not give you a worse look, in my opinion, because you will get expanded stomach, and it can adapt over time. There's also a lot of times when you see bodybuilders, you know, like they have a large stomach. A lot of people say it's steroids, or it's growth hormone, or insulin. Some of those things can partake to it a little bit, but not as much as if you have to eat 7,000 calories in rice and chicken, and especially beef, you know, like stuff that is hard to digest for your stomach. So if you are a hard gainer and you have to eat a lot of calories, then eat some peanut butter. Yeah, you can also eat some ice cream once in a while. You can eat a jam on your French toast or something like that. That is just easier for your stomach to digest, because it's less volume, you know. Lesson number 5. So lesson number 5 is very simple, just like the West. Don't overcomplicate training. Don't overcomplicate training. It's very nice if you want to read on the online posts that Jeff Nippard, what are they called? I think that Jeff Nippard is one of the most popular out there. BioLane and people like that. They do make very great content, and it's very true content that they are actually doing. But if you find some basic training program that you like, and you are just doing the exercises, then you will be fine. If when you do certain exercises, it's very nice to actually do the exercises the right way. But if we just say something like a squat, what is squat? It's a knee flexion movement. So if you hate squat, then don't do a squat. Don't do the exercise. Find another knee flexion movement, you know. There's a lot of movements that include just knee flexion. So yeah, don't overcomplicate training. Knowing the basics, you know, like slow negatives and partial reps, and having some reps in reserve, and those kind of things are nice to know, but it's not something that you need to do. If you just do the exercises and just do the movements, and you are training hard, that's the most important thing. If you're just training hard and you are just being consistent, then you will gain muscle mass if you also take in the calories needed. Trust me, and get some good sleep. That's also important. Lesson number 6, and this is a big one actually. It's a very, again, a simple one. Bulking versus cutting. You know, there's a lot of people, then they bulk for a little bit, then they put on a little bit of fat, and they do not like what they see in the mirror. And you also have to like what you see in the mirror, else why would you do it? But if you know it's only for a short while, then I think it's okay. But then they just think that, I do not like what I see in the mirror, and they have just put on a little bit of fat, some water weight, and that is pretty much it for hopefully some muscle mass too. But let's say they do that for 8 weeks, then they think, I'm a little bit chubby right now. I have to do a lean cut, just a little bit of a quick cut. Then they cut for like 4 to 6 weeks to get the water retention out, which only takes a couple of weeks to get some of the fat off. But if you are wasting all the time, if you just do these like 8 weeks bulk, for 6 weeks cut, then you just wasted sometimes on a good book. You could book for that period of time. So my advice here is just stick to one thing. Just book the way through. If you see that you're putting on a little bit much fat, then just lower the calories a little bit and see, is this better? And when you lower the calories, especially if you lower the calories in carbohydrates, then you also get a little bit of water out of the system as well. So they can take a little bit of the puffiness, And when you cut again, you might also be a little bit skinnier than you thought. You might be a little bit smaller than you thought. But when you cut again, then you can just see it through. Just do the cut. Maybe not all the way down to 6-7% body fat, but just like 10% body fat. 10 to 12 maybe. And that should be fine for a very, very nice fat percentage for most people, where you can see the abs, if that is what you want. Lesson number 7. Supplements are just supplements. By that I think that people think that supplements are just something that you actually need. It can be very nice, it can be very beneficial, but you do not need pre-workout. I would actually say if you need pre-workout to get out to training, get down there, then it's okay to take a little bit, but you should try to see if you could get down there anyway without a pre-workout, because otherwise the game gets a little bit kind of an addiction, in my opinion. Like you shall have that pre-workout every day. It's just something that also not very cost effective. But fine if you want to also like these amino acids you can take while you're training or just throughout the day. It's fine. It tastes good. They are very good at finishing the taste, getting a very good taste out of it. But they're not necessary. You do get enough protein in your diet, hopefully. So you do not need those amino acids. It can either be branch chain amino acids or essential amino acids, but you should get that through your diet as well. And there's all these kind of supplements which are getting hyped, like ashwagandha and stuff like that. It's just like overhyped, and it does not give those benefits as you should. Like if you should have some supplements that you really don't need, in my opinion, it's a multivitamin and some D vitamin, actually D3. Maybe some calcium as well. That is very nice. But if you got your multivitamin and your D vitamin, then it should be plenty. These protein powders can be a nice benefit if you are a very busy person who cannot get all your protein in, or if you do not have the appetite to eat enough steak, chicken, fish, etc. Then it's nice to have some protein powder to actually just get a little bit extra, but it's not necessary. Also with creatine, it's not necessary, but creatine is just something that is so cheap and so well studied that I take it daily, just because it's just so well studied and extremely cheap. So I take it just if it should do something very good, then I would just get it. But I do actually not take protein powder, and I have some size, so it should be okay. Lesson number 8. Free range do not have to be better than machines. There are a lot of people that say, you do have to do deadlift, you have to do squats, you have to do a bench press and shoulder press, But the good thing about the training machines is they are actually made to do that exact movement with that weight you put on. So if you put on like more weight than you can handle, then it's normally a little bit harder to cheat on those reps. With free weights, then it's easier to cheat and just outsource to other muscle groups that should not take so much presence in that movement, So I would just say machines are very good, especially if you hate squat, but you actually like hack squats. Then hack squats are just as good as normal squats, might be even better in my opinion. And the same thing for all of the other machines. I like cables because they do have a certain kind of path they are partaking, and you can only and there's just a lot of benefits to doing cable work. But free rates, in my opinion, is overrated. It's very nice to do, and you do get some stabilization in it as well. But if you're just purely training for building muscle, then I think that training machines are extremely good. Do not doubt machines. Lesson number 9. And this is also something, there's a lot of people on social media that uses this term, functional training. What is functional training actually? You can see a lot of studies on functional training, but is it functional to do CrossFit? It's nice that you are doing heavy movements while you do cardio, you can call that functional. But if you are just doing pressing movements, pressing normal chest press, or you're doing some shoulder press or lateral raises and stuff like that, then you are doing the movements that those muscles are actually doing. It might only be like one direction you're doing it, but that muscle is used to doing that movement. So that is actually functional. Then you will be more functional in everyday life. So that word functional training is some kind of a trigger for me. Not extreme triggerish, but it is a little bit of a trigger for me because one thing does not have to be better than the other for functional training. The last and final step, number 10, or lesson number 10, yeah, that is sleep and rest periods. Do not try to overtrain, sleep is very underrated, especially in this social media era, where sleep is actually something that is looked down on. You have to get up at 4 a.m. because you have to be better than the next guy or the next girl or whatever. You have to be up like 2 to 3 hours earlier than the other person just because you need to be a step ahead. To me, that's just like, very, very not true. Because if you get the sleep that you need, then you will also be very much more beneficial throughout the day. And we recover when we sleep. When we sleep, our muscles recover and our cortisol levels go down, and we do not bear this much stress. And if there's something muscles do not like, then it's cortisol levels that is extremely high. I do believe there has been a lot of studies. I do not link them down below because it is, I do know I say there's a lot of studies, but yeah, cortisol levels can really diminish your training. It can diminish like everyday stuff that you're doing, and it can put a lot of stress on your body and your mental health as well. So if you just try to get your stress levels as low as possible, and one of those things are just sleep and rest. Overtraining is actually a thing. So if you train 7 days a week and you do not rest to the next training session enough, then it will not be as beneficial as it could have been. You just need to rest. So if you have to train 3 or 4 times a week and you have to have 3 or 4 rest days, then that's very good as well. But that is actually everything for this video. I hope that you got something out of it, and I just wanted to share my opinions and my anecdotal experiences with you and my top 10 tips onto